To battle!
All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us once again at Final Fantasy Crystal Legend, a Pathfinder adventure, an original Pathfinder adventure based on the lore, inspired by the lore of the Final Fantasy franchise. I am your dungeon master. My name is Neil at theLimitBreak, and I am once again joined by Mihgo in the top right-hand corner, a Mithran white mage in service to Alexander, god of valor. In the bottom left-hand corner, Gillian, a half-hume, half-Guado Dark Knight from the city of Burmecia in the Chaos Continent. And in the bottom right-hand corner of our screen, Selkie Red Mage, Captain Montigue, part-time Red Mage, full-time Sky Pirate. Sky Pirate and swashbuckler extraordinaire. I'll get consistent intros for you guys just as soon as I am smart enough to do that sort of thing. If you missed our previous adventure, where we left off, our party was in the middle of a mystery, investigating a mystery of a stolen minecart, and who would care? The City Hall sent out a missive to the Wild Rose, where our party does brute force work, and suggested that they head out to the Zeruhn Mines, a mine shaft that has gone unoccupied for several years now, to pick up information about a stolen minecart. And when they arrived, the minecart was outside of the mine, completely unguarded, completely empty, completely worthless, and the goblins at fault were nowhere to be seen. But walking into the mine, they encountered not goblins, but in fact tiny demons, these imps. Now, that's where we left off, in the middle of combat, and we are ready now for episode 4, the Zeruhn Report. Now, we left off in the middle of combat, but if you remember, last time we were using Pseudobot, and it was not your friend for a lot of these combat rolls. So we've had a hardware die roller, and I think since we were at the top of initiative order, it's only fair. Let's go ahead and get initiative rolls from all of you again. We will reorganize the initiative fresh. All of the damage that you've dealt to these monsters is all staying put.
Natural 20!
Natural 20? Whoa! He's coming right out the gate, Captain Montague. Captain Montague, of course, you are up to go. Now, you are in the middle of swashbuckling with one of these imps who's stabbing at you with his tail. There's another one that is in combat with Gillian, and there's a third one that has polymorphed himself into a spider that has climbed up the right side wall closer to you than to her.
All right, I'm going to swashbuckle with the one that's buckling with me.
So we'll just add 2. Got 5 for a total of 5. So 7 is not going to be a high enough roll to hit this imp. So this spider imp that is currently on the wall skitters up along the ceiling and attempts to sort of make a drop down onto Gillian, because she made the last swipe at him. And he's just trying to kind of land on your head.
Oh, good.
But you managed to notice him, and so you move out of the way, and he's unable to make purchase anywhere on your body. Mihgo, you were excited about what you're going to do next. Let's hear about what you're going to do next.
Well, I watched one of my teammates take a blow from an imp. Mm-hmm. And so even though I had just tried to take a hammer smash at an imp and failed, managing to pound a lot of that. However, what I am going to do, simply because this is my time, is I'm actually going to reach over to Gillian, who has come within arm's reach of me, and go, boop. And I'm even going to make the boop sound as I poke her, and then, of course, pray to Alexandria and cast Cure Light Wounds.
Okay.
Which is that amazing 1 plus my level, which is 2. So for 3 hit points of restorative goodness to Gillian.
Beautiful.
Which puts me at full, by the way. Oh, so way to not waste any effort there, Alexander.
Now, this imp that was in combat with Captain Montague is going to make a biting attack at him. And since they are close to the same-ish size, it's a little bit more violent to you than it would be anybody else, where they're ankle biting. You, they're shoulder biting. And yeah, that I don't believe is good enough for your armor class. What's your armor class again?
Naturally, it is 16.
Yeah, that's not going to hit. Okay, so he's not making purchase on your body with that bite attack. And Gillian, neither is the imp that was attempting to attack you, isn't able to make contact through your armor, which is heavier. But it's now your turn. You've got 2 imps directly in front of you and 1 diagonally to your right in front of Captain Montague.
Let's take the first and foremost imp-shaped imp that is focused on me.
Sure.
I'm going to try and whip the scythe hack, because I just want to hack an imp with a scythe at this point. That's all.
Okay. That sounds great. Well, your hardware die roller is not managing much better than Pseudobot was.
I've angered the dice somewhere along my rolls here.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so this guy is jumpy. This guy is jumpy and bouncy and hopping around, and he's tough. It's like trying to swat a fly is the problem here. You're trying to swat flies.
Trying to swat flies with a giant scythe. This isn't a good system.
Yeah. And don't forget, you have abilities. You all have abilities as well that you can use to your advantage. Captain Montague, we're back at the top of initiative order. Please go ahead.
I am going to take my turn and cast Magic Weapon on my sword.
Okay. That is good. That is okay. Imp in spider form, I think it can't retreat away, because if it does, it's going to get winged by Gillian Guado for free. And I think that because they are being actively good about, hey, we're doing pretty good dodging and not getting killed here, that's going to inspire some courage out of this spider. And he's going to attempt a biting roll onto Gillian Guado from the ground here. But that roll is not going to be high enough. Key Mihgo.
So earlier I did a thing that really made all the imps really unhappy. And I'm going to do that one thing again, because right now I'm deep in the middle of the fray.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm going to take a moment to pray. Which is a will saving roll against demons.
Yeah.
And then 1d6 healing to those who can be healed, and 1d6 damage to that which is unholy against Alexander.
That's right.
So
for a total, none of them were able to make their will saving throw. And so with your prayer, you call upon Alexander for this prayer, for this blessing, and it's like an area of effect, just like a burst of positive energy emanates out from your position, and it just washes over this whole cavern, this small little tight area that you're fighting in, and all 3 of the imps recoil in fear and in pain and in agony from this positive energy. They do not like the goodness of your god. They are not worshippers at the Temple of Alexander. Captain Montague, you are going to take some damage here from this imp.
No!
From a tail stabby attack. All this parrying and thrusting and riposting finally pays some dividends for this imp. I would like you to take 3 points of damage, please. And Gillian, you once again, good thing. This is why you buy armor, right? This is why you go to the store and you buy armor. Because sometimes little demony things, they're going to try stabbing you or biting you, and they're just going to catch a grieve, and you're not going to feel any. Like, you can feel pressure, but it doesn't hurt. It's like I don't know if you've ever gotten hit with a hockey puck or a baseball while wearing padding. It's like that. It's just like thunk. Yeah, okay, that didn't hurt.
Yeah, I'm gonna try with the swipey cleavy again because eventually I'm bound to hit something.
Yeah.
Not today though.
Goodness.
6 with bonus. That's a 6.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. All right. Well, Captain Montague, we are back to you.
I decided to try pseudo roller. Pseudobot.
Pseudobot. Well, that's a 22 is definitely a hit. So go ahead and roll.
Is 19 a crit?
No, it's not. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Yes.
It is. For
Yes,
you, it is. Yeah. So you're going to roll your damage and then double the result. With that thrust, you skewer this imp. Well, actually, you tell me what a critical strike looks like from this piercing weapon.
After he actually hit me, I'm like, no, sorry, bah! And I'm like, to the eye with thee! And strike at the eye.
Goodness. All right. Well, you catch him exactly, and as soon as it enters, the sword enters his head, the imp immediately just collapses and falls completely limp, and you don't even have to pull your sword out, because as an imp, his form just kind of melts away and falls down into, like, it starts out as kind of like an ooze and just kind of greases along down and becomes completely incorporeal. And then as a demon, pyreflies are what they're called, are released from the corpse, and it's bits of the soul leaving the body, but these, you've never seen pyreflies like these before. These are black and they've just been unhallowed in some way. They're just ugly looking, right down to the core of the soul. These guys are nasty creatures. The spider imp is a little bit on the concerned side, seeing this from their friend, so he's just going to attempt to make a biting attack on you to get revenge on his friend. Plus what that is 10. Nope. That's not going to hit either. So Key, 1 imp down, 2 imps to go.
You know what? I have Xilianr within touch distance still.
Mm-hmm.
There's the imp that was next to her,
Mm-hmm.
is within striking distance, if I recall correctly. And then the spider one has disengaged to Captain Montague.
Yes.
So there's 1 imp left, and it is within touchy distance, or attacking, swinging distance.
You could make your way up into a range that you could start swinging at it if you were so inclined.
Would I be able to do that within a single turn? Is
Yeah.
I guess what I will do is I will take my step in
Mm-hmm.
to come up to them, and I will wield my mighty hammer,
Mm-hmm.
and with great blow come down hard. And that was
That's a 15.
my hammer deals a mighty 1d4 damage.
Mm-hmm. Plus 0.
Yep,
But that's 4.
with a total of
Nice.
4.
Okay.
So I strike down upon the unholy being while praising Alexander.
Yes, when you call out Alexander's name as you hit this imp, it's still alive, but it is in bad shape. It is bloodied, and it doesn't have a whole lot of life left to it. It doesn't have much left to do, so it's going to try to make a different kind of thing. So previously you saw the imp polymorph itself into a spider. This one specifically is going to try, and he's going to start concentrating, and you hear him start to incant in the infernal tongue, and start to make this chant, and he disappears from sight. He just kind of fades out, and with your low light vision, even it's you can't see him anymore. But it should be noted that you can still hear his scritching along the floor.
He
Gillian,
went invisible.
Gillian Guado, it is your turn.
Can't do much about an invisible imp, but I can do something about a spider imp. I think I'm going to try and go at the spidery imp with a nice scythe cleave.
Alrighty. You can use whatever die you would like to use. Apparently they are all cursed.
I'm just doomed.
I don't know. I got a critical hit off Pseudobot.
Pseudobot was mad at me the other day, though.
Mm-hmm.
13 plus 2 is 15. I don't know if that's enough for a spidery impact.
That is enough for a spidery impact if you'd like to roll for damage. Oh, yeah.
Whoa. Damn.
Bye-bye, spider.
So would you like to describe to us what it looks like when you kill this imp spider?
So I've been a bit frustrated in my constant missing of everything. So there's a bit more follow through here than there should probably be, as spidery imp is whole sight through, kind of over here looking back to the spidery imp as it falls entwined.
Yeah, you basically, this spider has become bifurcated by your scythe attack. And it too melts away and forms into these black fireflies that fly off into the ether, into the void, back from the hellish spawn where they had originated. Captain Montigue, you still do hear pretty distinctly the scritching and flapping of a wounded imp. You don't know where he is or where that's coming from, but it's somewhere in the area.
Can I get a general idea of where the sound's coming from?
Let me get a skill roll from you in that case. That is just enough. He is attempting to wheedle his way around you and out back where you came from. You can you hear him passing along your right, trying to move beyond where you are all standing to exit out of this cave.
Okay. I'm going to attack the darkness in the area around where he's at. That's kind of a general swing.
Okay, you're just gonna just a slash with your sword.
Yep, in that area. Yep.
No, that's not gonna do it. You make a swipe out into the inky blackness of this cave, and you're trying to hit an invisible thing that was dodging you when he was visible.
Yeah.
Key, do you have any ideas?
He definitely has an idea. Though the eyes of the mortal may be flawed, none may hide from the light of Alexandria. So I, of course, kneel and pray, and I use my prayer to spread out the energy of Alexandria and seek this demon, which sweeps out to deal 1 damage to all that do not take its saving will.
Yeah. So this imp, it cries out in agony and becomes visible as you've broken its concentration, just long enough for it to fall over dead from this blessing of Alexander. So victory is yours. Da, 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 da. You know the song.
That's sweet. We each killed an imp.
All right. Let me hear what it is that you would like to do now that you are in a passageway with no demons.
Well, I'm going to jump and shout and praise Alexander and be excited.
I'm going to hold my wound and act a lot more hurt than I actually am.
I am then going to run over to Montague and feeling so ashamed of myself for not helping Montague.
Mm-hmm.
And I will cast Cure Light Wounds, which is 4 plus 2 So that is I heal Montigue for 6.
Yeah, I only needed 3. Like I said, I was basically gamming it up.
Yeah, I know, but he falls for this trap. He uses her blessing of cure light wounds to help.
Thank you.
Alexander be praised. Healing and protection to you. At this point, what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a very perceptive moment to kind of just observe our surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And got 2. Can I just get perception rolls from the other one, from the other 2 as well? Aha.
I'm
And
a
that's
5
+2.
after
I think I perceive stuff.
The barrels that these imps have hoarded around themselves are mostly just full of rock, nothing terribly important. But you notice that behind they have a small hoard of swag, a small hoard of treasure, of stuff that they had stolen from the area and have hidden away. You find it is 111 gold pieces. You find a black gemstone. It's just a gem of some value that you can either use as a gem or sell for additional gold pieces. And you find also 2 potions, 2 little vials of magical potion. If you remember, they had some kind of alembic style thing outside in their camp. They have some alchemy related materia here. Both of them are blue in color. One of them is a sky blue and a bit translucent, and the other is a medium blue and much more opaque, or is like a medium green. It's much more opaque than the clear one. But that is your swag from the area, and a look in your surroundings and a listen in the neighborhood against the walls and using your perception. You don't detect any more trouble in the area. You don't have access to your detect evil spell, but you're pretty convinced from your previous usage that there probably isn't anything else of any evil in this neighborhood.
right. This was more or less what we were chasing.
This is what you were chasing for sure.
Right. Well, I'd like to use my appraisal skills, unto which I do have some, and that's 9 + 2.
Yeah.
On my appraisal. Try to appraise these potions to try to figure out
Oh.
what they are.
The blue potion, you open it up and you kind of get a little whiff, and it's nothing really. That one's not really ringing any bells for you in terms of the arcana. It might be something related to. It might be something related to a school of magic that you're not familiar with.
Right.
And even if offering it up to Captain Montigue, he doesn't really have much of an idea either. Probably a spell neither of you know. The green one, however, you open it up and sort of waft the scent towards you, and immediately you get a very strong, sort of pungent, kind of not pleasant stench, and it brings you back to your childhood from when you were younger. And the green potion is a concoction made from a plant called gallowbrush, which is used in small doses to help children fall asleep. But this is highly condensed. So this appears more to be a poison than a potion, and it is clearly a sleep inducement poison.
Yeah. So at that point, I'm like, bleh.
Yeah. So you're just like, ugh, and then put the cap back on because that's very clearly gallowbrush.
I do, but I at that point I'm just like, bleh, gallowbrush. I always hated the scent of gallowbrush.
Yeah. And Montague would be familiar with that because sleep is one of your things.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast detect magic on the gem.
On the gem. Okay. So you would cast Detect Magic, and you're focusing initially on the gem, and it doesn't have any kind of a magical energy. This is not a magicite of any kind. It appears to just be a gem of value. It's not any kind of magical. But a funny thing happens when you cast this Detect Magic spell. So you're focusing on the gem, and nothing is really happening. And you turn to your parties to just be like, it's just swag. And when you do, your cone of attention moves its way around back to the area that you were walking from. And you are bowled over with this wave. It's like we live in Vegas. You know what it's like when you're indoors all day and then you walk outside into 114-degree weather and it's just like the heat just kind of blasts over you. This is like that. You've just opened the door to a furnace that is rolling over your body, and this magical energy is potent. It is super potent somewhere else in this cave.
There's magic. It would have to be within 60 feet, but
Yeah. That's still a good cone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So at that point, I do the tail twitchy, and I'm like, magic?
Mm-hmm.
lots of magic. Whoa.
More you've cast this spell before, Montague. This is like nothing you've ever experienced before.
So I'm curious, and Key is the curious one. And so then I'm just like, okay. And so I cast Detect Magic because, well, I'm like, he's hamming it up. He tricked me. Let's find out what actually is going on. So I cast Detect Magic.
If there was, this isn't physically happening, but if there was a way for you to imagine what it would be like if every strand of your fur, just the tips of it, started to sort of smolder and smoke and started to burn as if somebody had lit your entire skin on fire. It's kind of like that. It's not searing you, it's not hurting you, but it's
intense.
It's super. That's like a heat coming, and it's completely overwhelming.
I bottle brush out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, he wasn't kidding. So I kind of do like a spin on one foot with my tail poking straight out behind me. And I try to compass in on the directionality of it. Am I able to do that, or is it too surrounding / intense?
Well, it's coming from where you entered in. So right now you're in a sort of a far eastern, sort of blocked off corner of this mine.
Right.
You got a lot of barrels. If you were to follow the mine cart, I mean, if you want to follow your nose, basically.
I think that's what Key's doing.
To the Fruit Loops.
Key is kind of prancing along with that very light-footed, nearly silent thing. And I'm basically following my nose. I'm chasing the source slowly.
You begin to walk, and your feet start to follow the trail of the minecart, walking back towards the entrance where you would come in.
Yeah.
In the midst,
also kind of following because there's a lot of power going on here.
In the midst of all of this, Montague's hat extinguishes itself. It was subject to the light spell. He's no longer a beacon.
I can see without the light.
So can Gillian. Yeah.
I think that I'm so enruptured by this. Actually, now that I think about it, that I don't think Key notices.
Okay.
Montague notices.
Cap, you're still able to keep up with these two just by listening to where they're moving and kind of keeping alongside them. You're not completely helpless, but You can't see anything of any value.
I'm gonna be kind of groping along too.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to hold hands with somebody. Find your cave buddy.
I'm probably gonna end up grabbing a tail or something on accident.
Especially since I'm trying to stealth a bit. Like, I'm actually trying to not be super obvious.
So you're following the minecart back to the west, which is the area that you came in through the big open area, the second open area that you had walked in with the minecart in the center, and follow that track up to the north, and you can feel like you're sort of walking past it a little bit as you're walking up north towards the entrance, and as you get back towards the main. You get back towards the main atrium. If you remember when you walked in the first big open area, it has that incline. It has the area out to the north, which is where the food was located, if memory serves, and the two pillars. You are certain that this magical energy is coming from that cave that tunnel that had been blocked off. And with that, your magic spell, your detect magic spell, it hasn't worn off. It's still going, but some kind of power now has begun to mask and make this magical energy sort of short out, so that you're getting less and less of a reading on it.
So I think that I would be at least somewhat familiar of a masking or like I see this is probably a protection or hiding spell. And so I'm going to be super duper dubious about this. Something that's hiding the light from our eyes. I'm going to go up towards this area that's closed off. And I'm gonna sniff. I'm gonna sniff around. I'm gonna sniff and sniff and sniff, and I'm gonna use my perception to see if there's anything I can detect, or I'm looking for anything that makes my nose twitch, like a ward or anything that's just out of place.
But as you're standing in front of this gate, you are finding it a little bit difficult to focus. You keep getting, and maybe it's because you're a cat.
Yes.
you keep getting distracted, and you keep kind of almost forgetting what it is that you're supposed to be doing while you're there, and that's primarily why you're unsuccessful.
Okay.
Can I even see anything, or is it just we did come back towards the entrance. I'm wondering if there's any light filtering in from that.
The light, you remember that you took some twists and turns on your way into the main atrium. It wasn't a straight shot. It was just where they could carve out the mountain. There's a very small amount of light here, but nothing that's going to allow you to really get any kind of purchase.
All right. I'm just going to be like, it's dark.
Gillian, do you have any thoughts on this matter? Any investigation that you would like to do?
I can tell that the cat is all sorts of twitchy about this, so I'll do a nice little bit of a perception roll, but I have no magical intuition about that, so my whopping 3 + 3 isn't gonna amount to too much, I don't expect.
The same thing happens to you. You approach this gate in an attempt to see if there's anything strange, and the closer you get to the gate, the more you start to forget what it was that you were doing when you came over here. Like, you feel it's one of the when you walk into a room and you forget why it was that you walked into the room, so you have to leave and come back to just be like, what did I need? That's kind of the impression that you're getting. The two of you together are not really doing much here.
Hey, Key, do you have another light?
I actually, for some reason, Captain Montague's voice pops out.
Mhm.
So I actually go, oh. And I remember I originally casted light so my teammates could see.
Well, you have light, detect magic, prestidigitation. Was there a fourth thing that you cast, a fourth horizon that you cast today?
No, there's not.
Okay.
And that is why
Yeah.
I go over and I poke Captain Montague's hat
Bing.
and I pray for there to be light.
Okay.
And Captain Montague's hat is brought with great illuminate, shines like a torch.
Shines like a diamond.
Now, I believe I am still under guidance.
Yeah, you can go ahead and make your skill check since these two fools did not succeed at their thing.
One
I
person
didn't
can't
do
investigate.
anything because I couldn't see anything at that point.
Can't investigate.
So, yeah, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that is an 11 of perception now.
Yep, that's not going to do it for anything in terms of what it is that you're looking for, magical ward or otherwise, but you still are getting this. It's once again, even under the influence of the guidance spell, whatever is affecting you in this way is more powerful than your cantrip. With that roll, I will say one thing that you do notice, especially now that it is illuminated in the area, and you've got a slightly higher roll, and you are under guidance. I will say that this gate that's blocking off this area, two things about it. One, it looks old AF. It is super old. And second, there is no hinge, there is no door, there is no latch. There is no point at which there is a construction. It looks like it's been built into the living rock of this place.
Okay. Now that I can actually see,
Mm-hmm.
can I use my knowledge arcana to see if I know anything about this gate?
Okay, so you're looking at this gate, and it's made of sort of like a steel, like a tough metal, and there are runes inscribed on the inner lines of the gate. They are written in the common tongue, and it says Korroloka Tunnel, sealed off in the year 426. This is several hundred years before you guys have gotten here. And it says only fools would go beyond here. There is also, you can tell from your Arcana check, that there is a kind of low level. There is a sort of, these runes are written in such a way. These words are written in such a way that it's clearly some kind of a ward. And whatever is going on with the gate, whether or not it itself is magical, you can't tell, but you can tell that there's something screwy going on here from that arcanic perspective.
Okay. I have a theory. Something is trying to get out. It's sealed.
So, is it trying to get out, or does it not want us to find it?
I just kind of point at like, well, it doesn't look like anyways. It's not going to open up. It's probably here for several centuries.
Okay, but wait.
That and it says
Why?
sealed.
Yeah, why the imps?
They were probably here to try to open it.
Okay. But
Which
then,
means this might be holding something bigger than them.
right, and wherever there are imps, there is unholiness and horrible. And I am very much for trying to purge the land of this. But if this demon is sealed, then we should leave it to rot forever. My only question is then why are we here?
I'm suspecting that the cart was stolen because they need somebody. The imps probably couldn't open it. They were probably going to try to trick somebody into opening it.
Blood sacrifices. It's always the blood sacrifices with unholy things. They just want to blood sacrifice everything.
Well, imps are tricksters too.
Where are the goblins then?
I don't think there were goblins.
No, there were goblins. I kind of point off in a random direction that doesn't really matter. I was like, that was a goblin encampment. What if the goblins unleash the imps and the imps are trying to break into the thing? So we've gotten rid of the imps. Have we gotten rid of the thing?
Don't think we've gotten rid of the thing. But we probably haven't gotten rid of the goblins either. Where are the goblins?
I tail flick in annoyance and note, and I'm like, well, I'm almost completely out of blessings.
I'm really low on useful spells as well.
I think the ancient evil thing that has been locked for many centuries behind a gate that it can't get past should be left alone until we're in top condition before going over there and thumbing our noses at it. That's just the tank's perspective, though. I mean, like, you guys, I'm open to conversation.
At that point, I'm going to look around. I'm going to go into the middle of the cave. I'm going to lick my nose, and I'm going to turn ever so slowly in order to see if I can feel if there's a breeze.
There is. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and roll for. I guess that would be perception as well.
So this is basically just 7, 8, 9, 10.
8, 9, 10. That's going to be sufficient. There's breeze coming in from the entrance tunnel, but from no other location. Oh, okay. No, and I apologize. So coming in from the entrance tunnel, and there is also a breeze coming in from the north, away from Korroloka Tunnel. There is also, don't forget, in this area, I didn't mention it today, but I mentioned it the last time we played, the sound of rushing water.
Right.
That is coming. There's an underground river that is sort of passing underneath you, that you can see now with the lights on. This incline has been made to go up over that water way. It's like a natural bridge.
Okay. So basically what I was checking for is where the exits are,
Mm-hmm.
because air comes from an exit.
Mm-hmm.
And air usually blows towards another exit.
Right, yeah. So it would be coming in from the entranceway out into the north.
Okay. So that is the way the air flows. Now, as I'm detecting it on my nose, do I think that there's a good flow of air or a weak flow of air?
There's a weak flow of air.
Okay. Now I'm going to look and see if there's any sort of firewood.
Well, firewood, there's plenty of barrels around that you guys had passed up. There's also, I guess there wouldn't be torch sconces since they are using electrical light.
Yes. So I will find myself the least sturdy of barrels, and with a great smite of my hammer, I will smash it up into a bit of firewood.
That sounds fine with me, and being in the middle of a mine, it's going to be it's going to be extraordinarily easy for you to find flint to begin a fire, which if you guys would like to pocket some flints, I wouldn't be offended. Some flint stones.
I am going to go around and scrounge for flint. You see exactly where I'm going here. I actually already have some flint and steel in my pocket, but I'm going to, since I'm in a mine, and I'm going to steal some, I'm going to pocket myself 2 more pieces of flint.
Sure.
On top of that. And then I'm going to, at where the wind is blowing towards, not where it's from, pile up a little bit of wood. And with a strike of my my steel, not my hammer, obviously that would be bad.
Right.
Well, with a spike of steel against flint, I'm going to create a very small fire which should pull more oxygen from the entrance of the cave and cause smoke to come out the other end, which was a technique I learned watching a television show, IRL, about how they used to help put more oxygen into mining caves way, way, way back when.
Oh. So what is your and what's your intent with this? You're starting a fire to try to increase the oxygen flow here?
Yeah, just to keep fresh air into the cave.
Okay.
I'm not really communicating with my team why I'm doing this. It's just what I'm doing.
Sure.
So
I'm just looking at her like, what the hell? And then I'm gonna go outside because we're right next to the entrance. I'm gonna go outside and start turning the crank.
Sure.
what was the
I'm
crank?
just waiting at the entrance, just sort of listening in case like there's goblins outside all of a sudden, which is very improbable. But just in case, I'm waiting for that call.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm keeping an eye on the white mage.
Yeah, so you spin the crank a few times, and after about 20 or so cranks, the lights, there's a series of lanterns, electric lanterns, that are connected by cables up along the ceiling, and especially in this first area. And they brighten up and lighten up, and so now you have electric light in this main room as well. So as you make your way back, it's very easy to see everything.
So
It should be noted, obviously, there are no electric lanterns beyond in the gate in Korroloka Tunnel, clearly.
Right.
Yeah.
So after I've created my little fire,
Mm-hmm.
to help bring air into the area that we're at, I kneel.
What?
More or less in front of the Korroloka Tunnel, just back enough to show reverence of frightening from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kneel in front of it,
Okay.
and I just pray and rest.
Okay, so you're attempting to get yourself a short rest here?
I've essentially decided he is set up camp.
Okay. Now, I don't know about what the rest of your team is interested in doing while you get this short rest.
I'm looking at the cat like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're.
You know what he's doing?
Oh no, but I'm gonna. And then I just sort of slide down the wall to a bit more of a rested position because obviously we are just sitting now.
Mm-hmm.
This does not seem like a good idea to me.
Mm,
We don't know if there's goblins in the area. Why are we resting?
Because if goblins are coming, we will be ready for them.
If goblins are coming, we'll be asleep.
Well, I
I
think
think no one cares if we lost a mine cart. We've been sent here for something that isn't just a mine cart or killing imps. Anyone can kill imps. Anyone can get an abandoned mine cart that isn't even being guarded by goblins. Something's up here, and it's more than just, what we've done so far.
Yes.
Gillian's right. Key is decided. Well, yeah, I agree with Gillian, and I think if we have patience, Alexander will bring the answers to us.
Sadly, I'm agreeing with Alexander in this. The answers will come. I'm just not sure we're ready for the answer.
Well, it's funny that you say this. So you guys have basically kind of set up shop here, right? Just for a moment?
Yeah.
Now,
So camp
Yeah.
a little bit.
Key Mihgo, you obviously, while you are in the middle of this rest, are praying to Alexander for guidance. You are praying to him for an answer and are saying, just give us a sign, give
Yeah.
us an idea of where to start with this.
Right.
And as you are making this, as you're making this prayer, you shuffle around a bit, and you remember that in your pocket you are holding the missive that you pulled from the board that you had shown to Day to ask about the job itself, the infestation cessation.
So I'm gonna pull out this missive,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna reread every single word like it's a gospel. Nope, I got nothing. Anyone?
We could ask the city officials.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'm all for intimidating some city officials. It's a bit funner than watching this ancient gate get more ancient.
So, should someone stay here and watch the gate?
It's been here for centuries. I don't think it's going anywhere. Dun dun dun.
the priestess of protection and healing, mostly the protection part of her, wants to sit and protect everyone from this gate. So I'm torn for a moment, but then I concede to my party. We need more information.
Yes.
So then I'm gonna go and snuff out my little flame. Snuff, 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 snuff. Because I don't want to leave things burning in the cave. That would be mean. In fact, I'm going to take a little bit of the water and splash it on there, fire safety and all that. Smokey says only you can prevent mine fires. Anyways.
Who knows? Maybe Eekstone burns like coal.
Ooh, that would
We
be...
don't know. We
That would-
probably should have found out about that before we went and lit fires.
Well, luckily, it seems that I didn't create a giant pocket of toxic smoke, so we're all happy.
You didn't create Silent Hill, so yes.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing to mention too, is that you guys don't feel any sicker than you did when you first got here.
Which means we didn't get far enough in to get to the ink stuff.
Or keynotes out loud.
Keynote.
The inkstone never existed. Dun dun dun. Sorry, she actually says dun 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 out loud. Anyways,
What is that?
it's dramatic. Anyways,
Yeah.
he is gonna want to go straight to DD for Day with this, but and that's gonna be her open suggestion.
Dee would at least know who put in the missive.
All right.
So we storm into the building.
At 8 Phoenix Down Street.
8 Phoenix Down Street. And by storm into the building, we mean respectively walk through the door and then bow to everyone. And then storm politely over to to Kumaru.
Kumaru. Yeah.
Maru.
Just think of it like Japanese Kumaru.
Yeah, Kumaru. Japanese about it. So she would storm up to Kumaru and be like, who put in this missive? Who are these officials?
Do you have the gold pieces that I lent you from earlier first before we get started on all of that?
I'd be like,
Do you have my change?
I'd be like, change is afoot right now, Kumaru.
I'm gonna look at him like
Going on here.
I'm gonna hand him the change while she's going off on this.
Yeah, and I'm like, we're not done here. Oh no.
Calm down, pussyfoot.
So Kumaru, you're asking him who did the city officials?
Yeah.
And he takes the missive and floats over to Junie, who does the administration, and asks her about it. And Junie and Day are in the middle of talking while they're doing this. So he basically is going up to the both of them, and showing them and ask them. and they're having the conversation, and Day walks towards the three of you and says, the city officials that sent this came directly from City Hall. I don't know if you guys have visited City Hall yet.
We have not.
Oh, well, it's not going to be a pleasant experience.
It's gonna be more pleasant than the imps we just fought.
At the sound of the word imps, Dede's face hardens as she reacts to this.
There's no goblins.
You can imagine, what a paladin in the stead of Golem, the god of nature and protection, a good deity would feel about imps.
Yeah, so like Key and Dede are very much like, yeah, they're trading that look. There's imps.
And Dede says that is a big concern, and I'm glad that you told me that they were imps. She said, when I used to adventure the way that you guys are, my party was sent out to fight all kinds of creatures, and over the last couple of years, 2 years or so, we had noticed a big influx of void spawn. There were more demons than there rightly should be in any kind of... I mean, that's not the kind of thing you're supposed to see all the time, and we saw it enough that we were taking note of it. I may have to sign up for more militia shifts if they're this close to... They've never been this close to town before.
Dede, there's something in that cave. Alexander be praised. There's darkness in there. And I must know more. We weren't sent there to find a minecart.
Dede says, well, the only thing that I can think of would be, and I hate to have to say this to you and to have to do this to you, but you might want to go to City Hall and ask around to find out who may have been at the source of this missive. The way that they send stuff to us is complicated. There's a reason we have Junie here. Yeah, I don't even really have advice for you.
So at those instructions, he reaches up to try to take Dede's hands. She looks her right in the eyes and says, "May Alexander bless you. And hopefully may Alexander bless the path that we are taking on." She's actually kind of like fallen into the full melodrama of the moment. Like he is thoroughly convinced like something is afoot at the Circle K. And this is her moment of greatness right here. Right now. We are about to get to the bottom of the greatest moment of darkness that this land has seen. And Key kind of looks to her party members in a very solemn way and goes,
I think we should go to the City Hall tomorrow.
And then she looks really crestfallen at that.
I know you want to go today, but if we go tomorrow, we'll be prepared for the adventure.
You are a strength, Captain Montigue. A strength.
All right. Is there anything that you would like to do for the rest of the day and the evening? You are in a town. You're free to do anything that you'd like in the neighborhood, but until bedtime, or are free to just kind of, we can we can press the back button and move the slider forward into, tomorrow morning.
Well, I can tell you what Key would do.
Did we ever split up the gold?
Nah, I just took everything and cooped into my bag and carried it with because I figured.
Well, and
we might want
don't forget Gillian Guado is the quartermaster of your team, so that's usually her area of expertise.
Right.
Yeah.
So, even though Key is the administrator and normally should probably be investigating more in town,
Mm-hmm.
it is far more in character for Key in this moment of gravity, where Key would go right to the Temple of Alexander.
Okay.
And would spend the rest of her day there,
Mm-hmm.
praying and laying hands and just spending time in the presence of Alexander, praying for protection and also that this quest is totally awesome.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
No, that's what she's praying for, though. That's actually what she's praying for right now, that this quest be her totally awesome quest.
All right.
But not out loud. She's praying for protection for all the town folks and for everyone and for the world, and also awesome quest. Okay, so that's what Key spends the rest of her day doing, and then she'll return to her room in the evening and turn in early and do that kind of such.
All right.
Montigue is going to go back to the hotel
Okay.
and cast Haze of Dreams on himself.
Yes. So your speed is halved. The tavern is called the Steaming Sheep. Is the name of the inn, and it's a pretty straightforward. I mean, it's a blue-collared town, and they don't get a ton of visitors, so it's not a lot of people that are in town, visiting. There are a couple of people in the rooms for traders who were out in the marketplace with their carts earlier in the morning that are staying the night that can end up leaving or coming back or doing some trading. Bastoke, being a mining town, doesn't have a whole lot of access to a lot of different kinds of fruits and veg, and so any kind of farmers from the neighboring area can make some good money here. And you can find your way to a gambling table or a bar. You can find ways to keep yourself occupied for a little while.
Well, that's kind of what the Haze of Dreams is also for, but I'm going to actually probably sit in a back corner, get something to eat.
Yeah.
And something alcoholic to drink.
Okay. Gillian Guado, you have an entire town to explore. You've got some free time to yourself. Are there any, where are you standing? Where are you looking? Would you like a description of anything?
I think I'd make sure that I can spot check what my two teammates are doing and that I don't need to run some interference with them making bad life choices that will make my life so much more difficult in the immediate future. I'm good with Temple of Alexander. I'm good with Haze of Dream. You know what? Yeah, go.
Yeah, he'll keep himself occupied. They're gonna both keep themselves occupied.
He's in town. He can't get that far out without someone hopefully letting me know. So. Okay. And then I'm just going to go and I'm going to bath it up.
Okay.
I'm long day, all the frustration of the imps. Just a nice water bath because it's really kind of dry here. And that's actually sort of hitting me a little that there isn't the constant sense of water that was everywhere else. And I'm just going to be okay, cool. Bath. Good, life is good, and get back to game face.
We more or less take a what we would call a relaxing evening.
Okay.
Yeah. There is one thing. After I have my meal and my drink, I'm going to go to my airship and take a buzz around the city.
Okay. So you enter your airship and you take a sort of a once around. The I mean, you've got the map, so you know what it looks like from the sky, but you get a good sort of view of the entire town. As the sun starts to go down behind the mountains, like I said, it gets late pretty early here, dark pretty early. You can see a lot of the townspeople sort of making their way back to their individual houses down into the residential area. A lot of communal housing. The city hasn't gained enough levels that everybody has a house of their own yet.
Yeah.
In the cityscape of this freemium game, they haven't bought the gems to upgrade the town yet. Obviously, they're still just working the once a days. And most of all of the businesses close down pretty early. The only place that really stays open late is the Hammerhead. That's the one that seems like it's working hard into the night. And obviously, the Steaming Sheep is open all night with bards there that are reciting oration or performing kind of songs. There is always a fire on, always lamplight and torchlight on at the Temple of Alexander and at the Temple of Golem. They are taking the needy and the oppressed and the weak and the meek at all hours of all day. So they are always open to those who need them. You just get a nice sense. This is one of the things actually that I think that would be good to mention is that Montigue has a good sense when he's looking over a town from the sky. This is like a personal skill that you have, is you can get a sort of impression of a town, and this is just a very kind, peaceful town full of good God-fearing good old boys that just want to do a hard day's work and have a long night's fun. So you're liking this place more and more as you see it, especially from this vantage.
All right, and I'm going to park the airship on our apartment building.
On your apartment building.
Oh.
So as the party comes back and notices this vessel on top of the building, or at least in the vicinity, I think now would be an excellent time for you to describe what your airship is and looks like.
It's a dinghy. It's about 12 foot max.
Oh.
Yeah, I got the impression, like, you guys know what an airship looks like. Clearly, it's a big boat in the sky. I want you to imagine if that ship had like a life raft. And if that life raft had an emergency ejection pod, that's probably that's probably what he's got. Yeah.
Oh.
This is why it wasn't such a big deal to actually have it.
It's like that first scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where Captain Jack Sparrow is sailing in on the schooner, and so he's got to go down and just bail. It's about that size. You could all fit in, but if any of you were a Rogadin, it would be tight.
Okay.
Does it have a name, Montague? Has it been christened?
It has one, but I haven't thought of it yet.
That's fine. Get back to us later.
Yeah.
All right.
That's where you're parking it?
Yes, I am parking it on the apartment. That way I know where it's at.
You know what? Okay.
Okay. And with that, you all make your way into the residence and have a full night's rest. Feel free to restore all of your hit points, any points that you have taken from burn damage, any of your spells, and if you would like to would like to prepare a new set of spells before our next adventure, it would be a good time to do it between now and then. All of the swag is with Gillian, and that will call a close to today's adventure, as that has been our 90 minutes. So thank you everyone for joining me here in the game. If you are watching at home, thank you for joining us. I hope that you like this game and our story. especially as we get better at playing it and better at telling the story. Every day is going to be a little bit better every time that we do this. We're going to improve. I'm going to up my skills as a GM, and our players will get wilier and wilier as they try to outfox me. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you the next time.